반짝이는 눈빛 눈이 부셔 매일 날 감싸주는 손길.
When Shin Yojin was struggling to breathe, the hospital room was suddenly filled with a tense silence and overwhelming fear. The beeping sound of medical equipment began to pierce the quiet and Shin Yojin's breathing grew weaker. At that very moment, Guhana and Unchong entered the room, quietly opening the door. What they saw was a shocking sight. Shin Yojin, gasping for breath on the bed, her oxygen mask removed. Guhana nearly screamed in shock, but she quickly regained her composure and pressed the emergency button. The nurses and doctors rushed in, urgently stating emergency procedures, and the room became a tense battlefield filled with the sounds of heartbeats, frantic medical activity, and Unchong sobs. After a long and tense time, Shin Yojin managed to stabilize and regained her ability to breathe normally. That evening, the police arrived at the hospital to investigate. They examined the CCTV footage and reviewed the records of who had entered Shin Yojin's room. The police initially identified Yoon Sung-ho, not Choi Myung-ji, as the prime suspect. He was confused and bewildered by the situation and stood in the middle of the hospital hallway, repeatedly asking the police what's going on without receiving any answers. The police didn't explain anything to him and they took him to the station. The interrogation that followed was colder and more detached than he had expected. He confirmed that he had explaining that he was concerned for his wife Shin Yojin, who was in critical condition. The detectives then asked if anyone else had been in the room at that time. After some thought, Yoon Sung-ho answered that there had been no one else, no nurses, no staff. The detectives exchanged glances before sliding a few photos of Shin Yojin without her oxygen mask in front of him. Yoon Sung-ho stared at the photos for a long time, unable to say anything, as if searching for the right words. Eventually, he spoke, insisting that he had done nothing wrong, but beads of sweat started to form on his forehead. One of the detectives coldly stated that Yoon Sung-ho's situation didn't look good. In a daze, Yoon Sung-ho tried to rise from his chair, only to collapse back down, holding his face in his hands as he exhaled deeply. He slumped as if he had been cause of a crime, quietly closing his eyes and thinking to himself, "Is this my fate to bear?" Just then, the door to the interrogation room cracked open. It was Guhana and Unchong. Unchong's eyes shone brightly as he spoke up, telling the officers that they had seen something important. Guhana nodded and moved toward Yoon Sung-ho, calmly assuring the officers that he was not the culprit. They had evidence that could prove his innocence. Guhana and Unchong had immediately noticed something odd when they saw Shin Yojin's oxygen mask removed. Unchong had spotted strange marks on the mask, fingerprints perhaps. Guhana immediately realized the importance of this detail. They rushed back to the hospital where they asked the nurse who had kept the mask for it, then went straight to the police station with it. The police, following Guhana's lead, began to analyze the fingerprints. Yoon Sung-ho, finally relieved, exhaled deeply, feeling a sense of gratitude. He muttered his thanks, saying that he hadn't done anything wrong. Guhana took his hand in hers and reassured him, saying that the truth would come out soon and that he just needed to hold on a little longer.
'Cause you are beautiful, a beautiful stranger.